another response. China does not accept or recognize the so-called South China Sea arbitration. This is precisely for the preservation of the rule of law of the
Caribbean country led by President Nicolás Maduro Moros. We are all aware of what is currently at stake in Venezuela. It is the right of Venezuelans to defend a revolutionary and truly independent process against the attacks of imperialism. Long live the Bolivarian and Chavista revolution. Long live Venezuela. Long live Venezuela. It's well known that during the past 25 years, imperialism has not ceased in its ambition to recover the domination over that sister nation and its immense natural wealth. It seems amazing that sometimes such a crystal clear and transparent truth is not fully understood. But imperialism doesn't stop there. Today, it is acting against Honduras by grossly interfering in the internal affairs of that sister nation and the government led by Xiomara Castro. Long live the Honduran people. Long live the Honduran people. Long live the homeland of Francisco Morazán. Our solidarity greetings from our people to our comrades from Nicaragua, the heroic people of Sandino, and the National Unity and Reconciliation Government continue to write its history without foreign interference and interventions. Could we forget that just 15 years ago the United States orchestrated a coup d'etat in that country? Are we to be surprised that there are attempts to do it again? What do you think? What do you think we can do? How can we react? Should we just react? What can we do for ourselves in a proactive way? Should we take the initiative? Can we do it? Of course, we can do it, and we are going to do it all together. Imperialism has not ceased to attack Cuba. As our friends and many in this country understand quite well, the United States government is implementing the economic, commercial, and financial blockade against Cuba with unparalleled strength and effectiveness. The impact is destructive. Allow me to share some facts, and you could obtain them from this QR code. The impact of just 25 days, only 25 days of the cost that the blockade imposes on the Cuban economy is equivalent to the total price of all the medicine and drugs that our public health system requires to meet the basic needs of the population for 1 year. The impact of just 21 hours of the blockade is equivalent to the cost of acquiring all the insulin needed in 1 year for all patients suffering diabetes. 7 months of the blockade are equivalent to the resources needed to purchase all the buses required for the public transportation system. 9 months of the blockade are equivalent to the financial resources needed to meet the demand of home construction in the country. The cost of 4 months of blockade is equivalent to the financing necessary to guarantee the family food basket delivered to the population during an entire year, amounting to approximately $1.6 billion. The cost of 18 days of blockade is equivalent to the amount of money necessary to ensure maintenance of the national power generation system for 1 year, which would avoid the continued blackouts that cause so much stress, emotional damage, and anguish, and affect cooling system, food cooking, and water supply to Cuban households. How could anyone claim that such merciless economic aggression is not a criminal act? How can the US government morally justify such persistent onslaught against the well-being of our entire population? The unjustified and illegitimate inclusion of Cuba in a unilateral and arbitrary list issued by the US State Department, which designates Cuba as a state sponsor of terrorism, automatically triggers a host of additional coercive measures that add up to the already existing blockade. Those measures have a very harmful impact on Cuba's economic relations and interests anywhere on this planet, outside, beyond the US jurisdiction, and regardless of the political position of any country regarding Cuba. Let Cuba live. Let Cuba live. Let Cuba live. Let Cuba live in peace. Let Cuba live in peace. The US government and its intelligence agencies know only too well that Cuba does not practice, support, or sponsor terrorism. Imperialism keeps dreaming about the end of the Cuban Revolution. They dream. Several times in history, it has made the mistake of assuming that the end of the Cuban Revolution is near. Life has shown that this is a terrible, misguided, and recurring error, then has confirmed the unyielding determination of the Cuban people to defend the revolution and socialism. ¡Viva! ¡Viva Cuba! ¡Viva Cuba libre! ¡Viva Cuba socialista! Stop the aggression now. Stop the aggression now. Long live the Cuban Revolution. Sí. Cuba sí, bloqueo no. Cuba sí, bloqueo no. Cuba sí, bloqueo no. Mr. President Biden, respectfully, drop the bloqueo, drop the bloqueo, tumba el bloqueo, como se dice en Cuba, tumba ya el bloqueo, tumba ya el bloqueo, tumba ya el bloqueo. Vijay, do you like the Cuban boxing? Do you like the Cuban boxing? Do you remember the great friendship between Muhammad Ali and the multi-Olympic and world champion Teófilo Stevenson? We have to knock out the blockade. Knock out the blockade. Noquea el bloqueo. Despite all difficulties and limitations, Cuba has today more than 24,000 medical doctors, professionals, and technicians in 56 countries. They are offering their services as they usually do in the poorest communities and to those in greater need. We also have teachers, engineers, and professionals from different fields in many of these countries. I only mention that because it's not hard to imagine how much we could do it, we Cubans, do if we were not under a blockade. How much more could be done if we, the peoples of the South, the global South, close ranks and clench our fists to deal a demolition blow to all kinds of apertures and sanctions, to bring the peace and well-being to our people's need and deserve. The capacity to practice such solidarity is a result of the Cuban Revolution. Without considering the revolution, it is impossible to conceive the extraordinary but humble impact that Cuba has had on the well-being of so many people in so many countries. We feel that as fraternal duty, a humble fraternal duty. We are fortunate to count with the support of international solidarity in the widest dimension. We also count on the position of the international community and the United Nations almost unanimously in the call for an end to the economic blockade and US hostility. Be ready for the next October the 30th, new consideration and new voting against the blockade. We enjoy, of course, the solidarity and understanding here in the US of many organizations, groups, and individuals. Among them, there is a growing number of Cubans who live here, as well as their children and grandchildren. The challenges that we face are huge, no doubt on that. I mean for Cubans and for all those who struggle for a better world. But should we accept the idea that our option is to surrender? Have we the right to assume that remaining passive and impotent could be the answer to such challenges? For us, as revolutionaries, going backwards is inadmissible. Marching forward is the only way to go in our quest for a just, peaceful, and inclusive world and society. Marching forward, abandoning the cause for independence, justice, equity, and the aspiration to put an end to colonialism, neocolonialism, and their sequels is for us unconceivable. Unconceivable. Unity, unity, solidarity, loyalty, and commitment to our peoples are our strengths. We cannot neglect them. Are we to allow others to divide us? Are we to be seduced by those who oppress us? Are we going to allow them to mislead us? Are we to lose the essence of our cause or the essence of the threats? If we allow our adversaries to divide us, if we give in, if they succeed in misleading us, if we miss the essence of our cause, imperialism will have the capacity to defeat us and consequently to defeat our peoples. Let us forever be confident that a better world is possible. The better world is possible. A better world is possible, but to achieve it, we need to struggle, and it is all the worth doing so. Long live solidarity among peoples. Long live solidarity among peoples. Ever onwards to victory. Ever onwards to victory. We shall overcome. Patria o muerte, venceremos.